On our next episode of Nick Records All of the Day 2 matches in one day, we have top 4. Welcome guys, Ninja Nick 333. Oceania International Pokemon Trading Card Game Championships. And we have Owen Cameraman on the left with Mew VMAX. We have Azul Garcia Griego on the right with Lost Box with the fancy tech of the Zeraora to one-shot Lugias with the Choice Belt. Also has that Dragonite V in there because you can Mirage Gate to it and knock out a lot of basic Vs and stuff. With a Choice Belt, it can also one-shot some V-Stars, so that's pretty cool. Looks like Mew won the coin flip here. Did start the Genesect Azul. Mr. GG himself started with the Zeraora. We're going to put down that Oricorio onto the bench. We're going to see exactly if we can get the full 5 benched Pokemon here. He does also have the Aerodactyl V-Star in this deck, as we saw in previous rounds. Although that will not really help him against Azul. That is mostly just a tech for Lugia specifically. It's there just to shut off the abilities of all V Pokemon your opponent has. So that will stop Summoning Star from happening, thus making it so the Archeops do not come out into play. But Azul, not playing any of that, so that Aerodactyl is just a dead card to be discarded. Very important to note, they do start with 75 minutes in these top cut matches. So we will likely see an end to the game without going to time. Even if we do go to time, we do have to go buy prize cards. There needs to be a winner during single elimination matches. So we will have to see what exactly can be done here. We do, I believe, Ultra Ball for this Mew V. We need to get some Pokemon in play so Genesect's Fusion Strike system can draw multiple cards, make that hand even bigger. We do have, it looks like, a Quick Ball. We are going to, though, go for the Rotom Phone first. I would go double Turbo myself. That way I can just attach that to the Mew. Because he is planning on drawing 1 card with Genesect V's Fusion Strike system, since he has 3 Pokemon in play. Looks like he's going for the Power Tablet instead, so that he can play the Power Tablet burning it before he can use it. I don't like that. I think that you should save the Power Tablets for your Psychic Leap turns. Mew VMAX can get damaged by these Lost Box things, and then you can Psychic Leap, knocking out something like a Sableye or a Comfey, and then still shuffle in and essentially heal yourself completely off. It is not too good against Drapion, though, which Azul is playing. Drapion will just be able to one-shot a Mew VMAX, so Owen is going to have to make sure he puts his Path to the Peaks in play at the exact right moment so that he is not Drapion. Azul will be attempting to build a hand that has all of the pieces he needs simultaneously so that he can guarantee that the Drapion turn goes off. This is a very bad matchup for Mew. It is very unfortunate for Owen to have to hit Azul right now. So we will have to see who comes out on top. He is doing the Battle VIP Pass. He does get a Mew V. He is deciding on his second Pokemon as well. Looks like we are going for a second Mew V, I believe. It's hard to tell from this angle, but I believe that's his alternate art. He has a full art and an alternate art copy in here. He's gonna cram. He flips heads, discarding the additional Battle VIP Pass that is in his hand. He does not need that right now. He is going to search his deck for any 1 card, and he will be able to Fusion Strike system until his hand has 6 cards, since he does have the full 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. Yep, looks like we are going to go for the double turbo now. So he could have gotten that instead with the Genesect before. And he does pass? Did he use both Genesects already? I guess he must have. So Azul, also starting with a Battle VIP pass of his own, is going to probably get down a couple of Comfeys, or a Comfey and a Greninja, the Radiant Greninja. Azul is counting up his energy cards. He wants to know exactly what counts are prized and what are not. Very important, especially for the basic energy here, to know which ones you have available, so you know what you can use as your attackers. Azul only plays 2 lightning energy, so therefore he needs to know if he has the ability to attack with that Zeraora. He does play multiple, I believe 4 water energies, so it should not be an issue attacking with Radiant Greninja should he choose to do that at any point. So he does go for Radiant Greninja Comfey, so we will likely see both a concealed cards and a flower selecting this turn. Zeraora is a fantastic starter for any deck that plays it because it does have free retreat, so it is allowed to just retreat for free. As if it had an air balloon, essentially, it does not have any sort of retreat cost. Looks like Azul's like, nope, we're not going to play left-handed today. Don't want to do that. That's what got me a prize penalty earlier in day 1. So we do not want to do that again in day 2. We are using Polaris's Experiment. We do have to choose 2 cards to put in the Lost Zone, but we do get to keep the other 3. Looks like we are going for the Ordinary Rod and a Comfey. Comfey is... You want 2 Comfeys at this point. He does have another in hand, so definitely the Comfey. He does have the Drapion in there. He has to keep the Drapion. Yeah, all of those Pokemon that he kept are pretty good. So yeah, I guess getting rid of the Ordinary Rod at this point is perfectly fine. He does play at 2, I believe. We are going to go in with the Comfey. We're going to grab a Scoop Up Net out off of that so that we can then pick that Comfey back up, use the next Comfey, get to 4 cards in the Lost Zone, and now we will be able to attack with that Cramorant we got off the Colress. We have not used our Greninja yet, I don't believe, so we will be able to concealed cards away that Psychic Energy in order to draw an additional 2 cards, make sure we see every single option available to us before we make a decision on how to continue proceeding with the turn. We do have Monkey Man, Oranguru himself. That can put a good card to the top of the deck in case he gets Marnied. Unfortunately, Mew decks for that reason specifically play Judge. So Owen's going to know that there is a good card on the top of the deck and a large hand from Azul, so he's going to hope to get into a Judge upcoming soon. We are going to re-bench the Comfey that was picked up earlier. We're going to bench another one. Do we have some sort of switching card that we're going to do, or are we going to retreat? Probably want to go in with as many Comfeys as possible. Looks like we are attaching to this Comfey and just passing. So it looks like he does not want to attack with Cramorant just yet. He does not need to damage this Genesect. I think that his plan is to just take a whole bunch of prizes off of one Mew VMAX. He's trying to stack his hand up so that he has the Drapion and the Sky Seal Stone at the same time. You want to make sure that your Drapion also does not get Lost Zoned, because Mew does play the Lost City. So you're going to have to make sure that that Drapion takes the last 3 to 4 prize cards. You're going to have to take 2 prize cards with something else. So I would have liked to see the attack with the Cramorant into the Genesect, just to do some chip damage there. It wouldn't really do a whole lot of damage because of the Oricorio, so maybe that's why Azul chose not to do that. He's probably thinking, well, if he doesn't get a way to move the Genesect, I still have a Comfey active, I can Lost Zone even more cards, and it will just benefit me even further on my next turn. Looks like there is an escape rope, though, so Azul will be able to pull up anything that he feels is worth letting get knocked out, which is probably another Comfey, since he does have 2 in play, or he goes with the Zeraora, because the Zeraora isn't particularly the best attacker in this matchup. It can do 110, but again, because the Oricorio is in play, that is 20 less. Looks like we are going for the Ultra Ball here on Owen's side. We are going to discard a Power Tablet, the one that we perfectly searched out earlier, and a Battle VIP Pass as well. So yeah, I do think that Rotom Phone decision was a mistake. I think he should have gone for Double Turbo on turn 1. We do have one more Genesect that we can use. Looks like we are going to go for the Judge. Azul is going to have to shuffle his hand back in and draw a new 4 cards. So that card he put on top of his deck is no longer there, getting a lot less value out of that Oranguru in this matchup. Mew VMAX will be able to attack this turn. It can copy any attack from any of his Pokemon in play. So since he has the Double Turbo Energy, Cross Fusion Strike is fulfilled. You can use that to copy. He can do Techno Blast for 190 and then can't attack next turn. Usually there is a switch or retreat if that happens. He can also use Glistening Droplets, which would put 5 damage counters down. He could always use that to try to start stacking up damage on Comfeys. Usually if an opponent uses a Drapion, they have to self-damage 60 to one of their Pokemon in play. So if they put it on a Comfey, I like to go in with the Glistening Droplets, especially against the Charizard version. They'll attack me with Charizard after having already attacked me with Drapion, and then I go and pick off their Comfeys on the bench, and their active Charizard can't attack in subsequent turns, so it's just kind of stuck there, and that's a pretty fun, cute way to do that. Mew can also copy... Mew VMAX can also copy another Mew VMAX's Max Miracle attack, do 110 after the Double Turbo reduction. Looks like we are getting a Path to the Peak here from Owen that will shut off Azul's concealed cards. I don't think it will be doing all that much against Azul. It's really only for the Greninja. It's hindering Owen a lot more than it's hindering Azul, in my opinion. But it's still worth putting down because maybe Azul will replace it in order to get a Training Court. Training Court is pretty big in this deck. I do believe Azul might be playing one. Yeah, I think there is one Training Court as a stadium in here. Azul always well known for taking notes on his little Etch-a-Sketchy type thing. He's making sure he is aware of what his 6 prize cards are so that he knows exactly what he can and can't put into the Lost Zone. We are going to go for Flower Selecting here. We're going to choose to put Capture Energy into the Lost Zone and take a different card of which I cannot see because we are no longer looking at the board. Especially hurtful that we are only looking at Owen's side of the board, so I can't see Azul play his turn. We are using our next Comfey. We are going to Lost Zone a Boss's Orders this time. And we are going to Bird Keeper into a third Comfey. We are going to use Flower Selecting yet again. Or no, we're drawing first with the Bird Keeper. We have to draw 3 after we switch. We are going to use Oranguru to put a card to the top of the deck. That might be something like Battle VIP Pass. Yes, it is. So Comfey can choose to put the Battle VIP Pass in the Lost Zone. That is a really great combination you can do with the Oranguru. Azul now has 7 cards in the Lost Zone. That is exactly enough to be able to use Mirage Gate. He already has that in hand. He is likely going to be putting the energy down onto the Radiant Greninja since that's his only attacker in play. Yep, 1 water and 1 psychic. Hopefully he has another psychic in, or another water energy in hand so that he can attach that and attack with the Radiant Greninja this turn. Again, the damage will be reduced by Oricorio's Lesson in Zeal, which allows him to take 20 less damage from attacks on any of the Fusion Strike Pokemon. So this Greninja will only be doing 70 to each Pokemon. 70 is still a sizable number. It will leave Genesects with 120 HP remaining, which is enough for a Sableye to come in and clean up house later. We'll be able to stack 12 damage counters onto a Genesect for a one-shot, and then all that Azul will need to do after that is just attack with a Sky Seal Stone to Drapion, and then he will have the game. So while Mew is still an extremely powerful and disruptive deck with its triple judge and its ability to continuously draw until it has 6 cards in hand, it has a very bad matchup against a Lost Box specifically because of its sheer ability to use Drapion to its full effectiveness. A lot of people just drop Drapion into a random deck and hope that it works out for them to beat Mew, but it generally doesn't. Even if I'm playing Mew and my opponent is playing double Drapion, if it's not a Lost Box deck that I am against, I don't care. Drapion also being used early is generally bad, because then Mew can always just Lost Zone it with the Lost City. So again, you have to make sure Drapion's attack is the last attack you use of the game. That way your opponent cannot play around it. The best way that Mew can play around it is that Path to the Peak, but Azul is likely meticulously dropping these damage counters and these damage attacks onto the bench Genesects so that we can get to a position to where he has all that he needs in hand in order to just go remove the Stadium of Path to the Peak and then attach a Sky Seal Stone to a Drapion that he drops from hand, switch into it, and then take the 4-prize KO. Looks like Azul might be eyeing up an Ordinary Rod because we see him moving some stuff to the top of the discard pile. There it is. We're going to be putting that Radiant Greninja back as well as double Psychic Energy, it looks like. He's already gotten the attack off that he needs with the Greninja, so he's putting those Psychic Energies back so that he has the maximum amount in there in order to attack with the Sableye's Lost Mine. You can even see it on the screen. That must be what the actual commentators are talking about as the plan for Azul to be going in. Azul just needs to take a knockout on one of those Genesects. And since there are 2 that are fully damaged like that, it will allow Azul to play around things like Switch Cart and Volo, which some rare Mew decks do play. We also see a Colress's Experiment. We're going to go to 9 cards in the Lost Zone at this point, so we are almost there. We also see the Drapion off this Colress, so we will be able to put that back in our hand yet again, along with the Sky Seal Stone. So those 2 both have to be things that you are taking off of this. If there is also a Scoop Up Net or something, or a Switch card. Oh, looks like... Yep, so we're going to get rid of Sableye and Dragonite because we have the full combo to finish the game in hand. Very unfortunate we have to get rid of Sableye to do that. That is a very... In a way, that was a very good Colress, but also a very bad one. So Azul's going to have to find a way to play around the fact that he just Lost Zoned to Sableye. He should still have one more available to him, but that's just a lot less consistent. Again, putting a Battle VIP Pass to the top of the deck with a Rangaroo just to Lost Zone it again. You want those completely useless cards in there, and you want to make sure your Flower Selectings get you to the good cards. So that is a full 10 in the Lost Zone now. We're going to have to see if Azul does have a way to find that Sableye, that one Sableye that is left in his deck. I don't believe he prized it. I don't quite remember. We are going to Mirage Gate now, it looks like. We might just be Mirage Gating to the Comfey in order to retreat into the Cramorant. I see no reason why not to do that in all reality. Just apply some extra pressure. Don't really need to do it, but it would be better to use Cramorant to attack a Genesect. But you would still be 10 short, unfortunately, because of that Oricorio. Oh, actually more than that. You'd be 30 short because of the Oricorio. over the attacks of the Greninja and both the Greninja and the Cramorant, which shows how much work that Oricorio does put in, allowing Mew decks to survive otherwise fatal attacks. Oricorio is especially good against decks such as Vikavolt, where they're item locking you, but they're only doing 50 to 60 damage a turn. You now turn that into 30 to 40 damage a turn, which is a significant difference. Looks like Azul is being forced to use the Drapion early. Yep, looks like he's going to go in because of the way that Colress's experiment came out. It looks like he is going to have to, and it will feed into the potential Roxanne. Looks like we are going to attach for turn to the Comfey. We are going to retreat the Lightning energy off. Yep, we are going to retreat the Lightning. We are going to go in with the Drapion. We've used our V-Star of the Sky Seal Stone, and now we're going to take the knockout and take 4 prize cards. Again, not the way you want to start the game by taking the 4 prize knockout, because now you are very susceptible to the Roxanne, especially since Owen just started or just drew for turn a Cramorant, a Cram-O-Matic. KO, indeed. I'll tell you, that's the time where I want to see the KO screen, is when you're taking 4 prize cards. So we are going to see if Owen is going to be able to get to the Roxanne if he plays that. Otherwise, he will have to just judge, which is not anywhere near as good. Azul's hand is likely extremely large now that he just took 4 cards off his prizes. And this is why I say that the opposite player should be taking prize cards. They need to change that game mechanic. We are going to see a flip of the Cram-O-Matic, and it is a heads. So if we have Roxanne available, we will be going for it. And there it is. Roxanne is being searched. So we'll have to see if Azul is punished for this 4 prize turn. Even if he is, Azul has plenty of turns. He has essentially 2 more turns left, I would believe, in order to take that knockout. We also need a double turbo on this Mew VMAX as well. So if Owen is able to miss that, Azul just wins the game, because that Drapion will be able to one-shot anything that Owen has. For those who don't know what Drapion's attack and ability actually are, it has the ability Wild Style, which makes it so its attacks cost 1 colorless less for each Fusion, Rapid, and Single Strike Pokemon your opponent has in play. All of Mew's Pokemon are Fusion Strike Pokemon. Its attack is 4 colorless. Since there are 6, it's being reduced by 6, going down from 4 to 0. And the attack is called Dynamic Tail. Does 190 damage, I believe. And puts 60 to one of your own Pokemon. It looks like Azul did forget, actually, to put the 60 damage on one of his Pokemon, so that will have to be rectified. If I were him, I would probably just stack the damage onto the Oricorio. Yep, looks like he forgot, so he's going to put it now. It is very important to make sure that you do all the effects of your attacks. It really does not make that much of a difference. It's not going to affect how play went, so it will probably just be a warning, and Azul's going to put that likely on the Oranguru. Looks like it is on the Oranguru, actually. Yeah, so that will likely be a warning for Azul. If it's a 2 prize penalty, Azul just threw the game, but again, that's a very easily fixable thing. That's not something that, like, it doesn't give any extra information. It doesn't draw extra cards. You don't have to reverse the game in any way. So that should just be a warning. If Azul forgets to do it again, though, it would be a double prize penalty. We are going to do some Ultra Balls and Quick Balls and fail them to draw as many cards as we can. We need that double turbo energy in order to take the knockout here. We also need a Power Tablet if we have not played one already, or a Choice Belt. We will be just slightly short with that Drapion there. Drapion is also a dark Pokemon, as I was talking about the damage from its attack earlier. The way it is so good against Mew is actually dark weak, so this Drapion was 100% made specifically to just take apart Mew as a deck. But Mew is, I mean, obviously here in the top 4 of an international championship. It got top 8 at least in Orlando as well. It's been doing phenomenal ever since the release of Drapion still. So I do not think that Drapion is that much of a problem. It clearly has not killed Mew. And Mew will continue being one of the best decks over and over, even in the face of such a powerful card like Drapion. And we do see that the entire hand was thinned as much as possible. We used all of our Genesects already, and we have a very small deck for Owen here, and we are Roxanning. So Azul's only going to get 2 cards and then his draw for turn, so 3 cards to work with on his next turn. Might have to promote a Comfey just to draw some extra cards. Does have a pivot in that one Comfey with the energy, so Azul will be able to see 5 cards deep total. He'll have to Lost Zone one of them off the Comfey, but hopefully Azul is able to get into Sableye Psychic Energy off of those 5 cards. Maybe he can find another Colress's Experiment. We are going to be taking the knockout on the Drapion. The Drapion does go to the Lost Zone. That is 1 more in there, but that does not matter for the count at this point. We do have 12. We are going to... Yep, looks like we do Colress's Experiment. We do find one of the cards we are looking for in that Colress's Experiment to draw deep. We do have, it looks like Scoop Up Net. We have Cramorant. We're going to Lost Zone, Cramorant, Choice Belt. Do we have the pieces? We have a Scoop Up Net. We will be able to recycle this Comfey. We might be able to, it looks like we are putting up the other Comfey, so we'll be able to see another 2 deep. Again, get rid of that Choice Belt. We do not need that. Do we have Sableye Psychic Energy yet? We have Greninja. We can always discard an energy that's not Psychic to try to draw 2 more cards. Yep, there is no Path of the Peak. We draw Psychic Energy. All we need is the Sableye. Do we have the Sableye in hand? Do we have a Ball Search card? I can't see Azul's Horde. There is a Sableye. He is going to attach, and he's going to switch card, and he's going to put 12 damage counters on a Genesect V and take the game. So this is why you see that the Sableye should be used before the Drapion, because Azul had to get really lucky and draw very deep off of that Roxanne to 2. But it looks like it did not matter. Azul was forced to go in with the Drapion first because of the way his one Colress's Experiment went. And, of course, still ends up winning the game. You can see how powerful Lost Box is against this. Looks like also they screwed up here somehow, and they removed them from the screen. So, let's see if we can cut through some of the shuffling and get right into the next game. We have 1 game down and 46 minutes still left on the clock to go to finish another potential 2 games. Important to note that Azul was the only person in the top 8 games to take a 2-0 over his opponent. Everybody else won by 2-1. Azul is able to set out his prize cards now. Looks like Owen is now doing the same. We have to see what they've prized. If anything super important is in there, I'm going to pause it so we can take a real good look. We've got a Mew VMAX, a Judge. Those are probably the 2 most important things in a Lost City in case Azul somehow misplays and goes in for a 2-prize knockout with a Drapion as his first attack. Otherwise, nothing super relevant. But yeah, these 2 are the big ones. He should still be playing 3 Mew VMAX, so this shouldn't matter too much. And he should still have 2 Judges, so this might not matter, but they're the ones that matter the most. Also, Battle VIP Pass, you want to have turn 1. Having 1 in your prize cards means that this one will not be usable. And there's less likelihood that he will see it turn 1. Azul, for him, he has the Colress's Experiment prize, the Oranguru, the Radiant Greninja, and a Mirage Gate. These are all key cards in all matchups with this deck. Hopefully he'll find the Hisuian Heavy Ball to at least pull the Radiant Greninja out of there, because that is one of the cards that puts in the most work in this deck. He'll still have 3 Chorus's Experiment and 3 Mirage Gate. And again, the Oranguru is pretty good for consistency, but not so much against Mew, just because of the fact that it plays Judge over Marnie to shuffle draw instead, thus changing the top card of Azul's deck. Looks like we are going to immediately Quick Ball away Roxanne. Unfortunate for Owen that he did start that so early. He does have the Pal Pad though, so he will be able to put the Roxanne back into his deck, but again, that is one less time you can use Roxanne potentially over the course of the game. Also, Azul will be attempting to play around Roxanne anyway, so discarding the Roxanne is not necessarily the worst thing, but you do want it just in case the same play happens like last game, where Azul is forced to go Drapion early and take 4 prize cards, which gives Owen a Roxanne turn. My cat is switching sides so that she does not get bed sores. She is a sleepy kitty, as all kitties are. Yeah, you get comfy. Alright, we are going in for the Mew V. We need Mew Vs in order to evolve into Mew VMAXs. Obviously, we need our attackers against any sort of matchup. We are going to Quick Ball away a Power Tablet, so that's effectively only 2 that are in deck to have access to. Owen is not really prize checking too much, I don't believe. Looks like he is making sure of the most important counts. Looks like he checked on the boss's orders. He likely checked on the double turbos as well. I don't think Mew is a deck where you really have to prize check too much. I usually just check the Mew VMAXs and the double turbos. We are going to shuffle back in the Roxanne with that Pal Pad. Not really getting the best effectiveness out of the Pal Pad, but at least you still have Roxanne in your deck. You are going to put the Choice Belt and the double turbo down. We can draw 3. Looks like we have a Cram-O-Matic. We will be able to discard the Big Parasol, which is not super relevant in this. Well, it is, because you want to keep that Big Parasol for the Sableye. So you want to put that on that damaged Genesect when that comes out. So it looks like Owen is weighing the pros and cons of using the Cram-O-Matic. If he were to flip heads, he would be able to get a couple more Pokemon in play, but then not have the Big Parasol. Looks like he would prefer to just keep the Big Parasol in hand and potentially brick for the rest of the game. So I'm not sure if I would have taken that risk. I think I would have taken the risk for the Cram-O-Matic flip instead to try to get another Battle VIP pass and get fully set up. But he is not wrong for his decision to not play the Cram-O-Matic. We are going to Battle VIP Pass. We start Comfey. We are going to get another Comfey, and he is looking for Radiant Greninja. Unfortunately, he is now going to be aware that that is prize, so he is going for another Comfey. And that is why he's going double Comfey, because there is no Greninja in deck. He's going to be looking for that Hisuian Heavy Ball. He also likely checked his energy counts as well while he was in there. He did not really check super well, because I know in the last game he did sort all the basic energies to the front of the deck, and I do not believe he did that this time. He was just more concerned about looking for the Radiant Greninja. Looks like we are going to have to Lost Zone either Capture or Snorlax. I think it is kind of fine to Lost Zone the Snorlax, but I think I would prefer that Capture energy in the Lost Zone, because Snorlax with a Choice Belt can still one-shot a Genesect. You can also always just go in with something like a Zigzagoon, which I don't think Azul plays, or the Sableye to finish off the Genesect at some point. So we are going to use some switch carts to use Comfey a whole bunch of times here. We are going to Lost Zone a Water Energy to keep the Cramorant. It would be really sweet to be able to attack with Cramorant this turn. Looks like we do have a Air Balloon in hand, so we will be able to attack with Cramorant this turn. This will knock out the Oricorio. It will prevent the Pokemon on Owen's side to have that reduced 20 damage. Of course, one prize for Azul is not the best. You want to be taking more than one prize in this matchup. However, you are just removing the damage reduction from play. So if he does have to go through a Mew VMAX hard because something happens to his Drapion for whatever reason, you know, or he can't find it, at least, you know, that damage reduction is not a factor anymore. I have a serious question if anybody knows. How many Play Pokemon shirts from stream does Azul own? Does anybody know how many individual days he's been on Pokemon streams? I know for a fact, I've seen him on stream before say that he collects Play Pokemon shirts. He always makes sure that he's not wearing a Play Pokemon shirt to a regional so that then they can offer him another Play Pokemon shirt. And it looks like we are going in with that Cramorant to take that knockout on the Oricorio. I think that would be cooler than having like a shirt from Worlds. Like, I have my Worlds shirt, obviously. But wouldn't it be cool to just have like, you know, a bunch of like t-shirt frames all across the wall and it's just every different color of Play Pokemon shirt? That would be hilarious. I would love to see Azul do something like that. So it looks like we only have 2 Pokemon in play. Yep, and Owen is getting punished for his play of the, well, his lack of playing the Cramomatic in the previous turn to get the Battle VIP Pass. So of course he could have flipped Tails. It would have only been a 50-50 shot to get the Battle VIP Pass. And he would have to get rid of the big Parasol. But, I mean, you'd rather be in that position than this. You only have 1 Mew VMAX in play, you have to copy Genesect's Technoblast, and now your only Pokemon in play, your only attacker, cannot attack next turn. So Azul is perfectly happy just hitting in with a Cram for 110. This, let's see. The Snorlax with a Choice Belt can come in on the next turn and actually finish off the Mew VMAX. Looks like we are going to boss that up, make it a little easier for Azul to go for that exact play. I do agree with the boss, though, because Snorlax does have a 4 retreat cost. It's not Cramorant, so Azul does have to put a lot of investment into getting the Snorlax going. Looks like Azul does not have a lot of cards in hand, only maybe 3 or 4, and he does not have the ability to play Mirage Gate as he only has 5 in the Lost Zone now. So Owen did make the correct call there. He is able to attack again now. So we'll have to see if he is going to knock out this Snorlax. I think that that would be a good play. And if he is able to finally set up, maybe get a Judge off or something. Looks like he just passes. He's choosing not to attack the Snorlax because Azul was not able to do anything in the last turn. So Owen is trying to just bide his time until he can get into more Pokemon on the bench and draw more cards. Azul does just draw pass again as well. Owen must draw something live here. It is an Ultra Ball. He is able to discard this Aerodactyl V-Star and this Battle VIP Pass that he neglected to search for off of a Cramomatic earlier. He still has that big Parasol in hand. If he wants to draw as many cards as possible, he should really be putting that big Parasol down on Genesect now. I know it's not ideal, it's not what you want to do, but you're both tied at prize cards. You will be one ahead. Unfortunately, your Mew VMAX is damaged. You will have to hope that you have the ability to Psychic Leap at some point. Looks like we are going to go for the Escape Rope. I guess Owen wants to keep the Snorlax in play and just knock out quite literally anything else. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Looks like we are going to go for the big Parasol on the Mew instead of the Genesect. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We draw 3 cards. There is another Genesect now. We do have a Lost Vacuum we can play to get rid of the Air Balloon. We will have to sacrifice a boss to do it, but that will allow us to draw an additional 4 cards, and maybe we'll actually get set up now. We do have another Cramomatic. We can discard the Battle VIP Pass to play it, maybe get yet another Genesect into play. Or maybe a Mew and try to Psychic Leap. We do get a heads. So Owen is playing to his outs now. He's trying his best, but I think it's a little too late just because of... You know, he should have the setup already. But Azul hasn't really done anything. That boss for the Snorlax really did put Azul behind, not being able to use any of his Comfeys, had no switch cards in hand. So maybe Owen can come back in this game. But again, would have preferred to see that big Parasol down on the Genesect. You saw how that was utilized. The Sableye was utilized in the last game. I think the big Parasol on a Genesect would be a lot better. Though you're likely just going to have 3 Genesects in play this game, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Because Azul's just going to pick whatever Pokemon don't have the big Parasol. Also, Azul did prize the Radiant Greninja, so he can't really go for that exact play this game. So we are choosing our 1 card off of Rotom Phone. Since we're not watching the board quite the right way, we do not get to see what that is. We will be shuffling those other 4 back into the deck. Azul will cut. We will put that 1 card on top and use Genesect to draw it, and a couple of other cards as well. Looks like we do have access to a Battle VIP Pass. And a Cram-O-Matic. We can cram away the Battle VIP Pass. We can put down the Lost City. Looks like we're choosing to Quick Ball away a Genesect. Probably to get another Mew V. I think that's his only other basic Pokemon in his deck that's not named Aerodactyl V. Owen is thoroughly looking through his deck. He does have a few double turbos in there from what I can tell. So this will give Owen the opportunity to Psychic Leap now that he has 2 Mew Vs in play. Unfortunately, if he does do that, he will be having to sacrifice maybe a Genesect getting damage, or he'll have to put up a Mew V to take damage as well. So either way, not ideal, since he does not have that Oricorio in play right now already, because that was already knocked out. Looks like we are going to retreat into the Mew VMAX. We are just going to take that knockout on the Cramorant. Alright, we go in for the flower selecting as Azul. We are going to Lost Zone the Energy Recycler. Not the best thing to Lost Zone, but as you could see in the previous game, I don't believe he used Energy Recycler, so it might be fine to get by without it. Of course, your big attack for 4 prizes is with the Drapion, well, for 3 or 4 prize cards. So we could always just go in for the knockout on a Genesect yet again, and then go in with the Drapion after that. We can also just knock out the Mew VMAX on its own. If we have something else. Looks like Azul does have the Drapion in hand. I don't think he wants to quite go for that, though. Looks like we are using Mirage Gate. Couldn't see that get put down because, again, we're not looking at the board. But we do get a Lightning and a Psychic Energy down onto this Snorlax. So Snorlax just needs 1 more energy attachment in order to be able to attack. Let's see. So we have 110 on the Mew right now. If we attack with the Snorlax, that will be another 180. That puts Mew at a total of 290 damage, right? So we will just have to see if Azul gets a Choice Belt. But Azul likely will not want to actually take the knockout on the Mew VMAX just yet. He will want to take his last 3 prize cards off of Mew VMAX. He wants to try to play around the Roxanne turn. But I don't know if he can actually this game. Since he did take the 1 prize card already, there is no way to play around Roxanne. So he might as well just try to... he might as well just try to utilize the Snorlax. Looks like Azul is attaching for turn to the Comfey. He is going to go in with the Drapion. He's going to take that 4-prize turn yet again. Again, not the way you want to go about this, especially since that Mew VMAX is already damaged and you could have potentially gone in with the Snorlax, but at least he takes 4 prize cards. And he does have to put the damage down onto one of his Pokemon. You can put it to the Drapion itself. We are taking a lot of prize cards, so hopefully Owen does have the Roxanne available to him. He did shuffle that back into his deck, but Azul is at 1 prize card already, only has 1 prizers in play, and the Drapion, of course. We do see the Lost City come down from the from Mew here. The Mew VMAX just needs to be drawn. We do get the Forest Seal Stone, so we are able to get there. Get another Mew VMAX, but we do need a power tablet as well to take the knockout. So we may have to play that Ultra Ball. There are no more Fusion Strike basics in the deck. So Owen won't really be able to Ultra Ball for anything else. He'll only be able to draw up to 5 for the rest of the game. He can Ultra Ball for the Aerodactyl, but I don't know if he really wants to put that in play. I mean, I think there's no reason not to, I suppose, just because then it's not in your hand. But I would Ultra Ball for the Mew VMAX, and it looks like he does have the Roxanne in hand. So we will see if it is enough to disrupt Azul in this game. It was not enough in the previous game. But hopefully this time it's able to stick. The only problem here is even if it does stick, I think Azul has, again, a couple more turns just to power up a Snorlax, maybe get a Choice Belt and a Boss, and bring up one of those Genesects for a knockout. He could also just knock out the Mew V that's on the bench as well without needing a Choice Belt. So if Azul just gets Energy Boss, he wins the game. So Owen's going to be looking for another Mew VMAX, but I do believe that 1 Mew VMAX is still left in his prize cards. It is towards the top, so he won't be able to evolve his benched Mew V. So yeah, I think he does draw into the Aerodactyl and is deciding on whether or not he wants to bench it. Again, I don't see why not. Well, I don't know. It has less HP than Genesect, maybe? If it has less HP than Genesect, then it's scary. Oh, he does have 1 more Mew. He has 1 more Mew V. So I don't know. I guess you would just play that down because you already have the 1 Mew V down. So 1 more isn't going to really hurt anything. Azul's at 1 prize card. You have to make sure he doesn't attack for the rest of the game. So Owen really thinking. You can see just how powerful Lost Box is specifically against Mew. After rotation, it will be an entirely different story because Lost Box will no longer have access to Scoop Up Net, so it becomes a lot less powerful. It will still be good, but it will not be as good to this extent. I believe Mew will still be just as powerful, if not more powerful, since everything else becomes so depowered. You just replace the Quick Balls with a few Nest Balls and a Feather Ball, because Nest Ball is being reprinted in the next set. We do have the Power Tablet played. Azul has a nice 2-card hand. Looks like we are going to Quick Ball away a Double Turbo. That seems like a very interesting decision. I'm not sure why we are doing that, because Double Turbo at worst is a way to retreat a Pokemon. Looks like we are going to fail it. We're not going to choose to get that Aerodactyl out of the deck. I'm not sure exactly what we are digging for at this point that would be worth discarding a Double Turbo Energy. Looks like we are going to use our V-Star now to take a card that I couldn't see because he took it too fast. And it looks like he's thinking he messed up. Looks like he took a switch. Oh, maybe he was thinking that he had to switch and retreat to attack. Yeah, because he shook his head. So yeah, the stress of just being on stream, being in top 4, this being such a big money match, probably just got the best of him. Said, I used Technoblast last turn, I can't attack this turn. He had a pretty long turn as well, thinking he needs a switch to retreat. Then after he uses it, realizes his mistake, and then just doesn't play the switch, which I do agree with. If you recognize your mistake, don't just play the switch and then burn it, because you might need it. Looks like Azul is thinking about Lost Zoning this Ordinary Rod. Azul has 10 in the loss zone now. He will be able to attack with Sableye potentially. Although it will be much more effective to attack with this Snorlax. Looks like we are going to retreat into the other Comfey, use its flower selecting. We do get a boss's orders. We will loss zone the battle VIP pass. And as long as we have attach for turn and a way to move this Comfey. Oh, we also get a choice belt. We have the scoop up net. And we have the boss's orders. We're going to knock out a Genesect, not even really needing the choice belt because you could have brought up a Mew instead. And Azul wins this game 2-0. Just goes to show the power of Lost Box, how powerful Drapion can be in combination with Sky Seal Stone, and how Lost Box just sometimes has the tools to be able to just pick apart a Path to the Peak. And yeah, that was the game. Props to Azul for being able to win this match. He goes on to the finals. He will be playing Reagan Retzloff in the finals. And I do have 3 more matches that I need to commentate. Although I'm not doing that tonight, I'll tell you. I got to get the rest of these uploaded. But I will be doing the commentary for all 3 matches. The internationals usually have the junior finals, senior finals, and master finals. So I will be attempting to commentate all of those. So long as all of those are being streamed, I don't see why not. We will see you guys then. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe to feed the hungry YouTube algorithm. He will starve without your help. And there are links to all of the Discord, the Twitch page, and all of the other socials down below in the description there as well. So we will see you guys next time for the triple finals. See you guys then.